Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to answer your automotive questions.
Welcome, Hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up. I sense that.
Is that? I didn't recognize
I sense that.
Voice. Is your voice the same?
Puberty.
Just unfamiliar, maybe. I haven't heard it in a while.
I apologize. It's probably going to happen again, but we'll get through it.
I'm Chris Carter here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. 866-594-4150. Got some calls coming in. They've been waiting to get on, so I don't want to make them wait while we find out what you were doing last week. This is kind of interesting, I thought. Let's talk to Al first. Al, you're on the Under the Hood Show. What can we do for you?
Yeah, I just need a little information from you guys. But I tell you what, I bought my granddaughter a car for school when she went to college about 4.5 years ago. And she just graduated. But anyway, she's been driving it. And I bought it from a friend of mine, the 2004 Bonneville Pontiac. And it had 47,000 miles on it.
Oh, that's low.
And anyway, and then she passed away, so I bought the car from my granddaughter, and she took really, really good care of it, this lady before. But anyway, I got it from my granddaughter. It's got 47. It had 47,000. It's got 80,000. It's a Pontiac Bonneville 3.8 four-door. And it's really like perfect condition.
We're hold on a second. We're losing you there. Losing your signal there. Hold on a second.
I wonder, first of all, that is an extremely low mileage car when he got it. And second of all, it served a very good job. It got the daughter through college.
Right.
And now it's got 80,000 miles on it, 87,000. So 40,000 miles driven in college. That's a lot of college driving, but we don't know where that was at or what it was.
Let's try again, Al.
Yeah.
Keep going.
It was a local. I was a mechanic and she lives close to me, so it is the actual miles. And like I said, I bought it from a friend of mine. His mother had it.
So what are you thinking? What are you wondering?
The actual miles. Well, I'm wondering what a guy should ask for it, because I had a 3.8 Buick for driving to work, and I drove it over 500,000 miles, that car.
Well, Al, I think you've got a vehicle that is a nice. Here's what we don't know, and this is something only you know because you're looking at it. But does the car's condition match the miles?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is the car look nice? Is the body solid? Is it not all beat up?
Is it mint?
Is it nice, or is it just low mileage? Because there's a difference. How would you answer that question?
I'll tell you what. It is mint condition. There's no rust. There's no scratches. It's never been in a wreck.
Yep.
And I know the car personally.
Yep. No, that's a car that you.
I tell you what.
That's a car that you can ask a premium for.
Yeah, you find out what other ones,
Yeah.
other models just like it are selling for, and you ask more.
Yeah, because that car I'm not
Start high.
just
and go
sitting
lower.
here right now, just nothing like we do, nothing in front of us but a notepad. An 04 Bonneville is not the dream car that a college kid says, "Hey, can you get me an 04 Bonneville for college now today?" They'd want something probably a little smaller and a little easier to get in and out of the parking lots. But
we've had a couple of our customers pick up the Bonneville and then the Sabre, the 02, 3, 4, and 5 right there, and they've spent $7,000 to $10,000
to fix
depending
them.
on but also to buy one depending on the shape they're in, because they know the reputation.
Yep. So I think that car is something that you definitely could be. Russ, you might have just had my thoughts somewhere in that. Most people are gonna say, "Oh, it's an 04 Bonneville. I want $2,500." No, this is a different 04 Bonneville. This 04 Bonneville would command probably 5,000, 7,000, 10,000. I'd have to look and see what the current market is.
That's what I think.
It's a premium.
You'll
car.
find them out there for
Al,
sale.
I'll say this, Al. If you look on the internet, if you search for sale 2004 Bonnevilles, you're going to see a bunch of cars with a bunch of range. You're going to be at the top of that range. Whatever they're asking is about, right? I mean, that's the easiest way to do it.
That one of the places we've looked is autotempest.com because of all the different Filters, you can just go by price, search by highest price first, lowest miles first, and find it. And you'll be able to, there's so many cars on there, you'll be able to find one.
You'll find one that's similar. Yeah.
But do not be afraid to ask a premium price for that car if it's, as you say, in that low mileage.
Al, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Bill. You're on the Under the Hood show. Bill, what can we do for you?
Well, I have a problem with a 1998 Buick Park Avenue, 3.8. Kind of like the last caller. Good car and everything. I had started it up, and I had gotten Christmas tree of lights on my dash, and I just kind of felt that I was either had a bad battery or maybe an alternator. Had it checked out. They said I had a bad battery. Put a new battery in it. But I ended up also having my airbag light stay on. A lot of the lights went out, but my dome light doesn't work. My trunk release doesn't work. I had, I checked all my fuses, of course, first under the hood. There's some tough ones to get at under the dash. There was some in the back of the, under the seat. I also had swapped around a relay. I can't remember the name. It was like a PAJ or something like that. That made no difference. I talked to somebody that I do bring the car to once in a while. Normally I do my own work. He said, try pulling the battery cables off again, but this time leave them off a little bit like I did before, but touch the two cables together and then see if that clears it. It did not. And I'm thinking it's the body control module unless I'm just missing something. I just don't see that kind of thing go bad on a car like that.
Well, then you're not us. we've put in, I've put in at least 50 of those over the years.
On
Just
those
don't see
older
them.
cars?
Oh yeah. Just don't see them anymore around. But when we did, that was a popular item. That body control module would fail a lot of times just from changing the battery, disconnecting it, putting a new battery, and all of a sudden now it's not working. That's no fault of the battery or putting it in. It's just the fault of the car. When it shuts down, it doesn't reboot when it's time to restart. But it can be checked. You can get a scanner plugged into it, read it, open the body control module page, and push the trunk button. See if it shows input. If it shows input but no output, body control module's bad. Look at the dome lights. Does it say that the dome lights, that you got a door open, but you don't have any dome lights and you've got power to them and ground? There's your problem. The body control module grounds it. There's power through the orange wire that powers them all the time. And if it's powered, but that body control module's not grounding it, then that's your failure right there. So it's got to be programmed when it's installed. I think if you put a used one cannot be programmed in that car, only a brand new one. But if you plug a used one into it, you could pick one up in a U-Pull-It yard, and then you're going to own it because it's going to be a test part. Plug it in.
I did pick up a used one for $30, but it said that when I was reading online, it said being that I think because of the age that you could reprogram it, but you don't think that you can.
We've never been able to reprogram one, just brand new ones in those. Some modules are programmable, some are not, but when you could put it in and use it for a test part and see if the trunk works. If you plug it in, even without programming, you should be able to push the button and get the trunk to open. So if the trunk opens, then you know that that's your failure right there.
Could you get fortunate enough if you found a car that had the same options and put it in there that it might function and work correctly?
The things that don't usually work are fog lights. There's a few things that won't work. You can put it in, and sometimes they'll work if the car will start. If that one's got a chip type VAT security system on it, so it may run. So if it does and all your stuff works, you could be fine.
So Bill, you have another one. Have you just not put it in yet because you heard it wouldn't? Or you haven't programmed it or anything, so you have an extra one?
Yeah, I just had my wife pick one up at off one of them car dash part places, and I have not put it in. She picked it up yesterday. It said that it had to be programmed when I read on the internet, or the car won't start. But I know, like you were talking about the chip and the PAT system and whatever, got a handshake. So
plug it in and see what it does.
I didn't want to do it myself.
Yeah, there you go. So plug it in, and
not going to hurt anything. And if your trunk
I
works,
can always go back to my old ones. My car will start.
oh yeah.
What do you know what the one that was purchased, what it came out of? Because there's a bunch of them that use the same part number.
Well, they didn't give me a 1998. It said 2000 on the Park Avenue. Mine's a 1998 Park Avenue.
Yeah, same circuitry, same setup inside the car, and that's what we'll run into sometimes if when there's a lot of modules that are programmable in those early cars, but it's changed. What Russ has been finding is doors have been getting closed here, there, over there, as far as what's available for programming on certain things, and not exclusive to whatever tool someone might have or whatever access someone might have. Our personal experiences that we haven't been able to recently, but if you have that correct part number and it's out of another Park Avenue, I'd plug it in and give it a try.
And see if
You're not going to hurt anything else.
it might work, but at least it'll give them the trunk test too.
Yep.
Bill, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
With over 2,000 episodes and over 200 stations, Under the Hood has the knowledge to make your car feel good. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. You were gone last week, and you were somewhere interesting.
I was. If I wasn't going to be here, it's most likely somewhere interesting.
That's debatable, but go ahead.
No, we could. I'll debate that with you. It's probably interesting, or else I'd be here because I like being here.
But I'm interesting to you, but not. Yes, for you it's more interesting, but there are times where that's not.
Okay,
true.
I'll tell you where I was.
Yeah, do that.
Then I'll get back to that if we need to. No, we were in Washington, D.C. for our. It's because it was always an annual event for the Automotive Recyclers Association, but with COVID, it got stopped. And so we respawned the event here a couple years ago for our annual Hill Days. And I remember going there as I guess probably a 30-year-old for the first time. I got to think about it. Boy, you start putting ages to this stuff, it makes you wonder. But going there for the first time, and what we do is we get industry leaders and industry members from around the country. And it's not an uncommon practice for fly-ins,
Right.
that kind of thing. So we get together and we go over legislative positions, things that affect our industry, and then we go in, we approach our congressional offices, and we visit and we tell our positions and our asks, and occasionally we get to meet with the senators and the representatives themselves, depending on the schedule. Otherwise, you're talking to a key staff member or a legislative aide, and you're dropping off information that you hope gets moved to the next step.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's going to their respective states and asking about the same issues at the same time, trying to find out if there's people that will assist us, people that are willing to co-sponsor bills, people that might know somebody in the EPA in this particular case, trying to make the right connections. And so that was our Hill Days. It was tied together this year with something that our executive director had an opportunity for people that signed up early and members of the executive team to be able to go out on a boat and sit in Chesapeake Bay outside the Naval Academy because it's graduation time and watch the Blue Angels practice right over our heads. That was, I know you two are both way more into this stuff than I am. I almost felt wrong that I was there instead of you two because
Chris did. He felt wrong.
Because I know you guys just really, really enjoy that stuff, but I think it's obviously cool. And we were able to be out there for the whole day, and they did an early practice, and then they came back and kind of did the show in practice formation. They had the things that you guys probably know that I didn't, and in this particular case, they had the VIP plane up that was flying near the squadron, giving the rides. There was an F-35 that came out and played. That was just incredible to watch. I didn't. study the technology like you folks, but just watching that thing coming in, just dragging with the hatch open, from just, and then it just stops and starts rotating.
Uh-huh.
I was like, oh my goodness, that is some crazy. That's just technology we get to see.
Right. Right.
But that was something that was an opportunity that came from the event. But then probably just getting back to another opportunity is when we got there on Monday, I had flight problems getting in, and we had a meeting that I was going to try to make with our executive director, Vince Edevan, and myself to meet at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. And we met with some folks that are in the defect department that have been there for a long time, 20-year employees, and we had an opportunity to meet with them, and we didn't know exactly what it was about. They had reached out to us as far as in our ARA trade association, and they want to know more about our certification program. And I'm the chair of the certification committee, and I've helped design the certification program that we have today for our industry. And they were wanting to know more about it. So my flight got delayed, and I was texting with Vince and trying to figure out who could go with, and our consultant, Sue Scholes, who's awesome, and she happened to be in town already. She decided to go with Vince, and I got in a little bit early from my delay, and so I texted, I said, hey, I think I can make it. It was going to be a 1:30 or a 2:30 meeting, and I said, I think I can make it. And so got off the plane and got a taxi. That was the quickest thing I could find. And with my luggage, I went over to the Department of Transportation headquarters and sat down in a meeting with people from the higher ups at NHTSA. And what they ended up wanting to talk to us about is just how we can partner with our industry is kind of how it came out in the end to help further uncover Chinese counterfeit airbags.
Okay.
And they have information they showed us that was crazy. The amount of deaths when these particular units deploy is, the percentages are extremely high, and they're having bad actors smuggle these into our country. They said in dollhouses they found them. They're coming in as just igniters, and people are putting them together here in the States. And what they showed us in this particular instance is that the igniter is encapsulated in a case from a properly made airbag. This particular Chinese knockoff looks the same. If you picked it up, it feels the same. But the canister on the back, instead of being properly welded together, is a screw. It's screwed on like you'd screw on the top of a coffee cup. A coffee mug, and it's screwed up into there. And so when it deploys and it expands, the threads don't hold, and it just blows apart. And it's very, very bad. And so they're just wanting to make sure that with our recall certification process that we have within our industry for people that are part of that, it gives us an opportunity to be able to sell our airbags like on eBay and places like that. If you're one of the, currently it's 200 give or take recyclers that are in that program, and just trying to walk through it to make sure that we have every opportunity to catch something like that, and what training is needed, what other resources can they provide. And so that is what was my first meeting when I got out there. It was very, very, it was pretty neat to be part of. And they actually pushed 2 other meetings once we got there to talk to us longer about it. And they're also in charge of child seats and some of that stuff too. And so it was it was for from a farm kid from South Dakota, I felt kind of neat sitting there.
Well, I think that's interesting
being part of the
information about the
conversation.
airbags, and important.
Yeah, and so you hear about the Takata recalls, and that is very, very low percentages of problems, but real stuff. I mean, it's happened where they've had those inflators not correctly deploy and cause pressures that cause shrapnel to come as they blow. But this is a different situation with these Chinese replicas, and so they're very concerned about
taking advantage of that situation.
Exactly. And so, and of course, an argument that was strongly made by our group and myself especially was, the recycled airbag that we take out of a car that is non-deployed, the non-deployed OEM airbag is the best alternative for people that are trying to fix something on a budget. Not everybody can go out and buy the brand new $1,000 airbag.
So they leave them out.
Or they look for Chinese replica. They look for cheap things. So as much as they might want to curtail some of those things, it's in the best interest of the public to have those factory designed options available at a lower price. Even though the manufacturers might have a different take sometimes, I think they would agree that allowing someone to fix their car and keep that brand running is also going to be in the long run a big boost in the rocket propulsion of brand loyalty, of somebody being able to fix their car versus not. And so we had those discussions, and we'll see where it goes. But it was that's where I was, and that's why I wasn't here.
866-594-4150. See, that one counts.
Is that one okay with you?
Yeah.
I'll tell you about some other ones, then you can decide.
We'll be back. 866-594-4150.
Three friends talking cars. You decide if they know what they're talking about. This is Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to the YouTube channel and join the Hoodie Fan Club at UnderTheHoodShow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Terry Walker, congratulations from our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. They're celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage. And
Nice.
They can take care of you. I just paid my invoice for Berkeley One Classics last night.
I just got mine. It's the envelope is unopened.
I received mine about a month ago, and I got a notice. I did opt into the text messages that says, "Hey, your bill is due in 5 days. I can help." I thought, yes. I should do that right now. I don't want to wait. I was waiting to the last minute, so I just sat down and I did it. I put a stamp on it. I didn't do the old internet thing. So I forgot my password. But I said, well, let's try the old stamp thing. So I did that.
I was at a place of I'm not gonna get too specific, but I was at a place and I saw a car in the Employee of the Month parking spot, and it had collector plates on it. And I was like, I don't think you can drive a collector to work every day. So I called the cops. No, I didn't.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Oh, Chris, that's good.
No, I didn't. But I did think that. I go, my wife pointed it out. She goes, oh, look at that car. It's got collector plates. And it was in the Employee of the Month parking lot. And I was like,
Well, they could have drove it one day.
maybe, yeah.
I mean, they're meant for cruising. It's not supposed to be a daily driver. I know Minnesota just recently was trying to change the law to a certain extent. I know that had the collector folks up in arms.
Because it was a dumb law.
Yeah.
A dumb change. The law has always been there.
Exactly.
It's just a dumb change to make it even just to be a pain.
But that was stopped in committee, I believe. Thank goodness for the collector people that are out there. But
Well, just they wouldn't have had to bring that even up if people weren't abusing it. That's the thing.
It's one of those where it's like, hey, we can fix this loophole. It's gonna be a bigger deal than you think.
Yeah,
it's
just
really
people. If you don't, and then the people, I'm sure there must have been at least a few that were opposing the new law that were the ones breaking that law and driving their collector cars 7 days a week everywhere they went, driving them to work every day. And those are the ones that somebody noticed, somebody paid attention and said, hey, we've stopped you 3 times in the last 2 months hot riding around in this car. Are you working? Yeah, I'm on my way to work. Why are you driving the collector car? It's only meant to be driven here and there. So those things came up. So it's just one of those. It's like here in South Dakota, we have what they call special interest plates. It allows you to have just a rear plate on your vehicle, and you pay a little more for it. Well, they might as well just say, pay a little more, and you don't have to put the front plate on any vehicle, because I see the same cars over and over all the time with just that rear plate on there that are not a special interest cars. I mean, they're like a 04 LeSabre, the Bonneville,
Well, I'm going to correct you just a little bit.
some of the newer cars that have
The SI, which obviously my dad helped
special interest
made the
mileage limit, right?
put the bill together. He got pulled over and only had one plate on and got pulled over for it and really torqued him off. And they lobbied and they came up with an opportunity to have a single rear plate available on a car. And then later they were able to get single with vanity plate. But the SI plate is the single plate.
The vanity special interest plates.
No, it's vanity single plate. You can get a vanity single plate. We have one on our Raptor.
You can.
Yes.
Nice.
Yep. And
is that unlimited mileage?
No, we have to every year we register. We have to put the mileage in. Now it's the electronic system.
Same as a specialty.
They're going to start being able to check that because we also have noticed the number of people driving them. I wish it was not so hard, but there's a number of people driving them on regular cars, and it's just a single plate.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's special interest on cars that are not special.
And it's not, but it's fine as long as you don't drive them 7,500 miles. Is kind of what they've come to. And then you've got your special interest with the organizational plates that they've had to create new rules about. And it typically is just for that very reason, like we talked about the collector plates. People take advantage of the opportunity because they were not innately involved in the process to know what it was supposed to mean. They just say, oh, I like that. I want to do that. And they don't understand the dialogues and the things that have happened. And that's what the collector plate deal, it drives me nuts because the people that truly appreciate having that opportunity, they know exactly what it's about.
Yeah. If you have a car that is a true specialty car, most of them did not have a spot for a front plate. Some of the Camaros, mid-'80s Camaros, the Solstice, a Corvette. So to put one on, even though the factory offered it on some of those cars, required drilling some holes in a poly bumper. And, in my opinion, if you've got that car rolling across at Barrett Jackson or a collector, I would rather have the one that didn't have the holes in the front bumper than the ones with the holes. Mm-hmm. So that is a specialty thing.
California, somebody's doing stickers. You seen that?
You mean on the window?
No, they have sticker license plates where you can get a rear license plate and then your front is the exact replica of your license plate, but it's a sticker.
It's vinyl.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had not seen that yet.
They do. In Texas, you don't have a registration on your plate. You have a plate that's just permanent until they get different plates, but your registration's on your windshield. And they can scan it as they drive by. The police cars can hit that and scan that.
Can they hit that unit? How big is it? I'm trying to remember.
It's about the size of a baseball card, a little
so they can
shorter.
Catch it with a reader when they go by?
Yeah, it doesn't take much. If they've got it, if a laser can hit something, it can scan a barcode pretty easy. But that tells them if the car is registered, because people down there would have the habit of they'd scrape a sticker off of somebody's car and put it on their own. And back in the 80s, you didn't have any way to track that. They'd take the blade and take it off, and then, that plate's registered. Unless they run it, they'd know it was out. But they can read the registration, but they just put a new registration. Then they've eliminated the inspection stickers, which I got a lot of friends that are in that business down there, and they're like, yeah, it's great for the frivolous stuff that we had to inspect that doesn't get used, that wasn't really a safety violation, but it's also leaving a lot of junk cars on the road. I saw one yesterday on the way home, a Toyota RAV4. The control arm, the back end where the bushing is, was literally hanging, almost touching the ground, and this guy was speeding past me. I'm like, inspections, they're great for safety.
866-594-4150. Let's talk to Jim. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jim, what can we do for you?
Hi, guys. I acquired a 62 F100 from a friend. It's been sitting in a garage for 25 years. He told me the motor is not worth rebuilding, and it's all in pieces in the back. I'd like to put a 300 in it, but I'm really struggling to find a motor that I'm confident in putting in or tearing apart and rebuilding. I've been on some chat groups, marketplace. Sometimes I get kind of the runaround and not a true story. Do you have any idea where I should look?
So you're looking for a 306 cylinder for something that was pre 1982, probably something like that.
Yep. Yeah. Yes.
Well, I know that one of our partners is Cardash Part, and there are a number of facilities around the country that still inventory a lot of older vehicles that are on that system. The system is more for cars that are probably in the first 20 years or 15 years.
Right.
But there's a lot of folks out there that use the same inventory systems to inventory cars that are of older ages. And so I always look on there and see what's there. And sometimes it warrants a few phone calls just to say, hey, how long has this been sitting around? Because some people will go out and they'll buy an old salvage yard and they'll just go out there and inventory everything. And then they'll just sell pieces because there's stuff people need. But you need to find something that's fairly fresh. That is a challenge because you're talking about something that's, you got a lot of years since they've made a 306 cylinder. And I know we've ran across a couple of them that had came through our pull-it yard where, you get an F150 or an F100 or, and it goes through. We don't know the history. It's something that somebody has rolled out from behind a shed and they're getting rid of it.
I haven't seen one in our shop in probably 15 years.
Are there any other options?
Well, you put anything you want in there.
Okay.
But he wants a 300.
Right.
Why do you want a 306 cylinder? Just kind of curious.
I figured it'd be the easiest way to get it running.
What was in there before?
I think it's 223
So it's a 6-cylinder already?
mileage. It was a 6-cylinder with 3 on the tree. But he said it wasn't worth rebuilding. It's all in parts in the back. I thought about taking it to machine shop and having it check it.
I wonder
to make
why
sure that it's not
why it wasn't.
rebuildable.
Yeah, I mean, is it personal opinion that it's not worth rebuilding because of the cost or whatever, or
Is it broke?
is it broken? Because a lot of people will say, I've had people say, it's not worth rebuilding. I'm going to put an LS in there. It's not worth rebuilding. I'm going to put a whatever in there, fuel inject. Well, sure, to them it's not worth rebuilding, but maybe it is. Maybe if it's a $3,000 engine rebuild, for them, they'd rather put a fuel injected modern engine in it. But for the owner of that truck, everything's going to bolt on. If you've got power steering and alternator, all the brackets are going to bolt right up. So maybe you take it down, have that block checked, the crank checked, and the head checked, and if they're all good, you get a rebuild kit and you rebuild it.
I definitely would
called
inspect
my,
it.
Sure. And he doesn't want to work on that motor. So I guess I'll just call around and see if I can find one that'll check it.
Yeah. And then you made a comment, and when you look at Facebook Marketplace, it is the Wild West, no doubt. It really is. I mean, everybody...
Don't know if it's any good or not.
Everybody is a wonderful presenter now. With AI, they can make some crazy ads. It is harder and harder to figure out what's real. And so I understand your challenge. But when somebody that has something that is genuine and you talk to them, you kind of know. When you try to talk them into what you want it to be, when you talk to them or when you text with them, you're trying too hard.
Mm-hmm.
When they're telling you what it is and you can just sense there's a better dialogue going, it usually works out. Because there are people that have a collection of Ford 6-cylinders that might be selling off a few that suddenly figure out how to get on Marketplace and sell them, and they pop up every once in a while. You can put some search parameters in there, and like anything else, hopefully it's somewhere fairly close by where they can ask for a FaceTime video if you've got an iPhone. Let's do a FaceTime video. Show me what you got, and let me just walk me around it. That's not hard. Send me some fresh pictures of it, or, where it sits right now. If it seems like the pictures aren't fresh pictures, and if they can't, you probably just leave it alone. Just don't mess with it.
Before we let Jim go here, do we want to guess the color of this truck?
I think we need to.
Yeah, Jim, hold on a second. Don't say anything. I'll go first because I think I can picture it. I think it's green.
I got a feeling it's a cream color.
Okay.
It started out red, but now it's more of an orange because it's faded
Sure.
so bad. It's the old Ford orange.
Just going with
red,
that red
faded. Yeah.
red class. What color is it?
The title says red, but it's gray.
Oh,
So it's red.
It's not, and I don't think it's paint. I think it's just aged to a gray.
oh, that's crazy.
So it's aged to the primer.
Right.
We waxed it so many
going
times
down.
that it's just primer.
Is it a solid truck that's not rusty and stuff? I mean, it sounds like.
It's got good bones. It's got a little rust. It's that unibody, so it's got some rust. It's got some pretty good sized dents, but really pretty solid.
It sounds like a fun one to get running and cruise around in. So, we want to get you a hoodie. Let's get him a hoodie.
Jim,
We
I'm
haven't
gonna
given
Producer Doug
let's
will
get-
hook you up.
Let's get him a
I'm
hoodie.
gonna put you on hold here, Jim. Hold on a second. There you go. Now we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show.
If your Band-Aid can is empty because you have so many dash lights on, you need to call Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show.
We got this.
Maybe it's me.
You're cutting out,
Yeah,
Chris.
I'm cutting out.
Yeah, your bandwidth has been compromised at this very, very moment, so we can't have that.
All right, I'm back. I fixed it.
Did you?
No, I don't know what's going on. I did get a question. A friend of mine was, he listens to the Under the Hood show. I went to school with him back in the day. And he said, hey, I have a question. Do you guys ever get this question? I'm looking for a vehicle for my kid in college. So I want to find something that's safe, but not too expensive, but reliable.
Al's got an 04 Bonneville
And I
with
said-
87,000 miles on
I
it.
said, I think we've had that one before. And he goes, oh, a lot? I go, yeah. And I said to him, we get that one all the time. And what should I try and sell this car for? Or what should I be spending on that? And I said, here's the answer. This is, I'll give you the answer. It's a Toyota Corolla or a Honda Civic or Accord. It's a Camry or Corolla, a Civic or an Accord. That's it. It's just always that whenever there are many things that can work, but that will be the answer. So we don't have that one. There is, and then I looked over here and it reminded me because we were talking about it earlier. There's a question from the chat right here. My son is looking at a 23 or 24 Chevy Malibu for taking to college. This is a little bit different. 23, 24 is usually not what college cars are.
Yeah.
Question. Mileage ranging from 25 to 70,000. Is the CVT transmission a worry for those years or miles? So 23 or 24 Chevy CVT problems. It's not standing out for you.
No transmission problems really with those that we've really run into yet at all.
Yeah, would it be a yet thing? Like it?
Yeah, they're always a yet. I've got a 24 Nissan in my parking lot right now with 30,000 miles that has a bad CVT transmission in it. That Nissan Kicks that's sitting there, which is really a Rogue, right? I mean, it looks like a Rogue to me, but it's a Kicks, whatever. I've had cars with out of warranty, 3 years old, that 15,000 miles with bad trans, but I've also had them 7-8 years old with the CVTs with 250, and they were fine. And it's kind of a crapshoot.
But
with,
nothing
with
stands
the
out
CVT,
to you as far as
no, they're not.
No, I'd say that. What year did they say? 23?
23, 24.
If he said it was a Rogue, I'd be like, oh yeah, we see those all the time. But with the Malibu, we have not done a single one yet.
I have sold a few of those transmissions. We were actually just looking at that part number the other day, but it's not with any huge runaway activity.
You're not going to retire on them
No.
yet?
No.
Okay.
So we've got about 14 of them in the back room that we were trying to figure out what to do with that came from an opportunity, and we're just trying to figure out what to do with them. And they're CVT Malibu transmissions.
Andy,
So-
if you're listening, I know where you can get a good deal on
Buy
one
a
if it
spare.
goes.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch he can't sell.
There are times like that, Chris. We have, I'll hear somebody say, the yard, they'll send me a quote. It's like, hey, I got a guy on the phone. He wants a quote to put a engine in his car. I'm like, okay. And, or a transmission. One, it was an engine and a transmission, and it was not that new. It was about, I think it was 2019. So it was older. They said, well, yeah, we got the engine. It's got 35,000 miles on it, $750. And I went, say what? Well, they had run this car out of oil and blown it up.
Oh.
We don't sell those like ever because they last forever. The transmission was like $3,600 and it had a lot more miles. It had like 90,000 miles on it. So sometimes you're surprised at prices. Now, both of those, this is where a used part, it's a factory, everything. You've always got to ask these questions.
Mm-hmm.
That used engine, 750, a rebuilt, or going to the dealer and getting one, or a new one, we're talking thousands of dollars, and you can get a great deal. Sometimes those transmissions, if we're not selling them, they might be $1,000, but you go to a rebuilder and they're $3,800.
They're what they are.
So
Yeah.
it's always good. Check all your options. Check new, check certified used, check remanufactured, check all of it.
Let's talk to Linda. You're on the Under the Hood show. Linda, what can we do for you?
Oh, yes, and I am so thrilled that I got to get through to you. I very much appreciate listening to your show.
Thank
But
you.
I did a stupid thing. I have a Chrysler Sebring convertible. It's a 2005. And with all the different grades of gas, I had an empty tank, and I grabbed the wrong hose, and I put 2 gallons of flex fuel in it, and then realized it was the wrong gas. And so then I filled it up with the right gas. But the darn thing, it doesn't, if I'm out on the highway, it wants to race. If I'm in town, it kind of acts up. So what can I put in the gas that will, fix what I did? It was kind of a dumb blonde mistake.
All will be well. It'll be fine. Just put in a little more of the regular unleaded with the lower alcohol content, so you can continue to balance out that fuel that's in there. And the car, you probably got check engine light on.
No, actually not, because I have put, as soon as I filled it up, and then I like to travel. It's convertible. That's my fun car. And so, I put more gas in it, the right gas and stuff. But I hear you fellas say about adding things to clean up the, the piston thingies and like that. Is there something like that I should put in the gas to clean up, so that it doesn't, it wants to gallop? That's the way I explain it to you.
Well, it's time, and with that many years on it, it's time to put some cleaner in it. Putting the flex fuel in there, that's actually a super great cleaner right there.
Yeah.
It's some of the products are made with that content in there as one of the cleaning agents, but you need to do a professional fuel system cleaning. A shop can use
Unrelated to this problem.
right, but that not caused by your
Right.
putting the fuel in it didn't hurt a thing. I think you've got an unrelated issue going on, like the CRC emission system cleaning, like a complete cleaning with the CRC products. Your mechanic would be able to.
But to
help you out
answer
with
her
that.
question in general, just fill it with
The fuel problem, nothing.
Just
But,
keep going.
Yeah, when you're asking about putting cleaners in it, though, yeah.
And just as quick as I can say it, if you have put in the E85, you might have knocked some stuff loose. If it is a filtered car, you could have a filter that's dirty.
That one's got a filter.
Yeah, and so don't worry about it. You get that changed, go on.
Hour 2 is coming up of the Under the Hood show.
You're listening to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics, Shannon Nordstrom and Russ the Super Tech Evans. Shannon is an ASE engine and parts specialist, and Russ is an ASE Master Certified Technician with extensive factory drivability training. The Under the Hood Show is heard weekly on this and other great radio stations.
With Russ Evans, this is Shannon Nordstrom, thanking you for tuning in to the Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show. Have a great day, and remember, PTLA.
The opinions heard on this program, based on the many years of experience of Russ and Shannon, are offered for entertainment value and as a guide to your repair needs. No guarantee to repair or cause is given or implied. Always check with your favorite certified technician and follow all safety procedures before attempting repair. The Nordstrom's Under the Hood Show with the Motor Medics is reproduced and distributed by Prairie House Productions. Have questions for the Motor Medics? Call our 24-hour toll-free number, 866-594-4150. All content of the Under the Hood Show is the property of Nordstrom's Incorporated. Copyright Nordstrom's Automotive and may be reproduced with our permission. Now, let's go under the hood with the Nordstrom's Motor Medics.
Welcome to the Under the Hood Show. We are glad to have you with us. Russ Evans is here to answer your automotive questions.
Thanks for joining us under the hood.
Shannon Nordstrom is here to do the same.
Welcome, hoodies. Thanks for tuning in so we can help you tune up.
I'm Chris Carter, here to answer your calls at 866-594-4150. Like this. Watch this one. You ready? You guys ready?
I think so. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's go to California and talk to Tony. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tony, what can we do for you?
Hey guys, thanks for the show. I listen to you guys all the time and learn a lot.
Thank you.
You do. So I have a '09 Camry with a 4-cylinder, the 2.4 cylinder, and it's got a rough idle only when I'm stopped at a light and I'm in drive. As soon as I shift to neutral, for example, it goes fine. It's definitely worse with the AC on. So and it's been going like that for a while. I've cleaned out the throttle body and the mass airflow sensor. It didn't seem to help very much at all. So kind of scratching my head, checked the fuel trims. They're good, like around 2 or 3%. ChatGPT suggested that maybe ignition coils could be like just marginal, only having a problem, when it's idling and there's no codes or anything, and it drives fine, perfectly every other instance. It's only when you're stopped at a light with your foot on the brake, and it's really bad with the AC on. It's like the car shakes.
Well, with a coil, you're either going to get a misfire or you're going to get a complete fire on a car like that. So if it's misfiring, you should have a misfire code and a dead cylinder if it's coil. But you may have a weak cylinder. You may have a valve that's a little weak, leaking by there, or low compression in a cylinder, making it run rougher. If it's at low speed and it's in gear under a load, it's really going to shake and run rough. It could also be an engine mount that is in poor condition. It's starting to sag a little bit. These engines are pretty good. That 09 Camry's got a really good engine that doesn't usually develop that type of a weak cylinder situation. We do see them more often have engine mounts that start to either become super stiff with age or rotten and worn out, and they'll flop around a little bit so the engine can shake a little bit at idle. Those are a couple things we'd look at. We'd do a cylinder leak down test on all the cylinders and compare them, see if they're all 4 the same. Compression check, see if they're all the same. If that's all good there, then mechanically it's sound, and you can look at some tune-up issues and things like that. Might have if fuel trim, that's going to indicate an average of all 4 cylinders. It's not going to indicate if you have one weak one. So if you have, let's say the number 1 cylinder has a clogged fuel injector, enough that it's giving an idle problem, but down the road it's fine. That 2% would indicate that it's adding 2% total to all 4 cylinders to make that one come up enough to compensate for the maybe 6% it's losing on the 1 cylinder. That would be a case where you could try, before you even start taking it apart and doing readings and spending your time doing that, you might try some CRC guaranteed to pass the G2P emission system cleaner.
And a partner of ours.
Yeah. Put it in the tank, drive it a couple 100 miles, see if it changes. If it does, that's a great indication that you've got clogged fuel injectors.
If you can drive it a couple 100 miles and never stop at a light, if you can time it, it would be, right? I mean, that would.
Tony, we had an
Okay,
09
so-
Camry that my daughter drove for a lot of years. And we went, this is kind of odd, but we went through a couple spats with that thing where it just idled a little bit weird. And it just seemed like whether it was different fuels that she got, but just whatever it might happen to be, it would react a little bit different. We bought that car with 30,000 miles on it and drove it to 100,000 miles.
And you never could really isolate that?
What's that?
You never could
No,
really
it
isolate.
just happened every once in a while.
So it's like you kind of ran into a wall with diagnostics.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah.
I have a lot more information. I actually did most of those things. This has been going on for probably more than a year now, but less than a year ago, I had the cylinder head rebuilt because the head gasket blew.
Oh, here's more information. Okay,
Tony.
keep talking here.
All right, keep going.
And so that didn't affect the problem at all. I have changed the transmission mounts because I had another separate problem in the fall that I thought was the problem. So that all the engine mounts are new, and then so new plugs as well with the head rebuilt. And then on the forums, I see a lot of guys talking about the same kind of problem that they couldn't solve, and some people were just like, "Oh yeah, just live with it." And I'm like, there's 60,000 miles on it, but everything else is running fine.
There again, we drove ours to 100,000 miles and we sold it to somebody else, and as far as I know, they're still driving it. That car was just solid, but it did have a funky idle every once in a while. Now, I'm not saying that makes it right, but it wasn't so bad that it never died. We never chased it any further because we just knew it was going to be just maddening probably to chase it any further. The cylinder head, why'd you do that? Just because there was a problem with cylinder pressure?
The cylinder blew a cylinder head gasket.
Head gasket. Okay. And after you put the new
gasket
cylinder
blew,
head
so I
on,
had to redo the whole thing.
after you put the new cylinder head on, has someone done yourself probably, have you done a leak down test? Not a compression test, but a leak down test to see if all the cylinders are sealing?
I didn't, but the problem was there before, and it didn't get any worse. Maybe you've gotten
That's fair.
better temporarily.
Yeah.
It didn't much. It's been a problem since before and after.
I know Russ and I will challenge each other to, from time to time, go back to the basics, go back to the basics. And fuel delivery, fuel pump, fuel filter, that you've checked all that probably?
Not the fuel pump, but I'm leaning towards, like you said, the injectors, because that's the only thing that's not as easy to check at this point.
Could be. You could swap them around, move them to a different cylinder.
Oh, there you go.
But you're not seeing a misfire that's solid, so I guess it would.
Yeah, that would just be, well, you'd still be wondering.
Not
going to
work. Yeah.
But it's, a lot of times we'll tell people to do that if they're having a misfire in one cylinder is to
Yeah.
move some things and see if the problem moves with it or not.
Right.
Yeah, there's no codes or anything.
And so under load is basically what's happening. Air conditioning on, still hanging up, in gear a little bit. That's just an extra load on the engine. And it's not so bad that it's like a transmission that is not releasing the lockup or something like that. We're not talking about anything that bad. You're just talking about a light just a rough idle, correct?
Yeah, but it's pretty rough. I mean, even without the AC, it kind of shakes a little bit, but it's real annoying when the AC comes on. It has installed, though, and I checked the RPMs. Doesn't seem to drop too low. I mean, it's about 650 both with and without the AC on, and then it goes at most at 700 if I put it in neutral.
When it's doing it, if it's doing it, is it going to do it every time you stop and do that for a period of time, or is it intermittent in that way too?
Yeah, it seems to be pretty consistent.
Okay.
Russ, you were just leaning in like you were going to say something when he said that about
you could have a shop take another look at it and see if they think what's going on. But it sounds almost like it might be a it's a transferring type vibration from engine mounts, from engine to the body. And a lot of times when you replace those mounts, they are not the same as the factory ones.
Well, Tony, good luck.
Kind of feel like we let him down.
Yeah.
We didn't give him anything that he hadn't already tried, but he's definitely shook the tree pretty hard on that one already. And
Fuel filter.
Now,
No.
that idle, you should have plenty of fuel pressure at idles. You know, if it's running so good at higher idle, most likely.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us. Tony, wish we could have given you.
We might have given him an idea and we don't even know it, just
right.
by the way we talked about different things, kind of talked through it with him.
Yeah, well, sure we did. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
If car repair was cheap, you wouldn't need us. We're Under the Hood.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here on the Under the Hood Show. Let's go to Arizona and talk to Tammy. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Tammy, what can we do for you?
Hey, good morning. I have a 2010 Tahoe with 360 plus 100 miles on it. 1,000.
Sure.
That deserves a clap.
She's been around the block, but it was an old Border Patrol truck, so it was maintained very well. My mom owned it, maintained same way. I own it same way. Every 3,000 oil change. What the issue I'm having now is when the truck is at idle and I have the AC on, the RPMs fluctuate. They'll start about 7, they'll go up to about 12 to 13, and it constantly does that unless I completely turn off the fan, and then it'll idle normally. But if I'm sitting on, it does that, and the fan will be constantly on. And I've asked my mechanic, and he's like, "Oh, that's just normal for it." But I don't ever remember when I was younger, the older vehicles that, I grew up with ever idling hard that way.
That's a big swing. 700 to 1,200?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
We need to give some of her RPMs to Tony with his
Right.
Camry. They need to do an RPM dollar cost averaging.
Mm-hmm.
But if it will, as the AC clutch kicks on and off, if it's cold enough that, it cools itself down and it's adjusted where it's kicking on and off, it will move some, but it automatically adjusts. It might be idling at 700, it'll kick in, it'll drop down to 675, 650 and kick right back up as it adjusts. That's got electronic throttle on it. There's no cable, nothing like that. So it's no idle air control motor. A dirty throttle body can cause it to swing like that. A dirty mass airflow sensor or a mass airflow sensor that is failing can cause that to happen as well. It can't see the changes in airflow quickly, and it doesn't adjust quickly. So it drags.
So,
like
and
that.
it's going to have that normal kick. If it's hot out and you have the air on, you're going to get a little bit of a kick there.
Yeah, just a little bit. And sometimes you get a code, but you can unplug the mass airflow sensor, shut the car off and restart it with the sensor unplugged and let it, find its idle and sit there for a second. And once it does and it's running smooth, turn the air on and see if it's working good now. Then you probably got a mass airflow sensor that's weak. And when it's actually plugged in and operating, it's got a lot of fluctuation. They can fail within their range and not give a code and cause it to act up, cause fuel economy to be poor, things like that, response to be sluggish. So that's one of the items that does that. But we unplug them all the time to test the car. You can't really drive it, but you just unplug it, shut the car off, restart it. It may stall a few times, but eventually it'll start and idle fine. And once it does, then you can turn the AC on and see what it does. It's reading off the throttle position sensor when that's unplugged.
Right. Okay. All right. I'll start there.
Well, Tammy, I got to ask you a question just because it just is always interesting to me. and Chris is looking at me like he's really nervous about what I might ask.
I'm
Chris is giving me that look.
Cautious.
He's giving me that look right now.
Yeah.
I just want to know if producer Doug spelled your name correctly on the caller board that we see, because
Okay.
Sure.
I'm just
Okay.
there's a lot of Tammy spellings.
Right.
My wife has a unique one,
Mhm.
and I'm just curious if Doug spelled it in the what I would call the most common. I think pretty common.
Yeah.
Tammy. Did he spell it
Certainly
correct?
the common spelling for Gen
I would have gone
X.
IE.
How did he spell it right?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doug, did you
Nice, Doug.
ask for the spelling?
Oh, he's
He never does, but sometimes you do. But most of the time it doesn't matter as long
Right.
as we can look up there and read that it's Tammy from Arizona.
Yeah.
If however he spells it.
It'd be
Hey,
so great if she said, "I'm
You'll
not from
never go
Arizona."
wrong when you put in an MY. You'll never go wrong. If it's the other way, then those people are the wrong ones.
Okay, so my wife is spelled Tamie. And so we often have to correct even our own relatives of that.
I only know 2 Tammys, I think, my whole life. That one and the one that cuts my hair, and they're both MIE.
Yeah. But this is, Tammy Mockmiller, our sales manager's wife.
I'm wrong. I do know 3.
You know another one.
Mm-hmm.
That's
she spelled
MMY.
that?
MMY,
Oh, is it?
I'm pretty sure. So I thought it'd be something fun to ask. We've never done that before.
That's a good one. Tammy, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. Let us know how it goes.
Yes, definitely I will. I kind of do odds and ends on my own if I can. I change the oil, spark plugs, and I do what I can to save myself money. I'm a little bit coordinated that way. I hate to go reference the movie, but my brother was a mechanic, my dad was a mechanic, my uncles are mechanics. So yeah, that's what I grew up with. I didn't grow up with Barbie dolls with trucks. So
There you go.
I love
Thanks,
it. I
Tammy.
love it.
I have a question about a vehicle like that, Border Patrol, whatever it is, when it comes from a situation like that, law enforcement, even any fleet vehicle, when it's taken care of well, the oil changes, all of that is kind of logged and it's all good. But they also take it's not like it was driven every day normally and taken care of in that same way, right? I mean, do those sometimes have a hidden
I have thoughts.
right?
Well,
I have thoughts.
it depends on what each visual or each vehicle individually.
Right.
I could imagine that in South Dakota, police vehicles that are used for patrol, they're treated differently and they run differently than the ones that are not on patrol, but the ones are stopped. Like highway patrol would be different than a sheriff's car. Sheriff's car's moving. It's not doing a lot of sitting, waiting for speeders. The highway patrol, they may be either cruising down the road or stopped, idling for long periods with heat on, things like that. Border patrol vehicles are either going to be used they could be used for intense pursuit of things. They could be used for sitting and watching. So you might look at the mileage. I'd rather find one with average miles, because if you find one with high miles, it's on the, you want the high mileage one, because that means they were on the road moving with it a lot. Hopefully they weren't running all over constantly at slow speeds in the dirt. But the ones with very low miles probably have been sitting, and a lot of those have hour meters.
That's what I was just going to say.
Convert those to mileage, because if you've got one with 25,000 hours on it and it's only got 10,000 miles, you think, oh, look how this great mileage.
Where do I find the hours?
In the meter, the trip meter, on the dash.
No.
Yeah, there's hours. Most of the GMs and Fords, they have an hour meter as you flip through.
Yeah. Huh. And you can convert
and I think
hours
a lot of
to
the,
miles.
I think a lot of the fleet patrol type vehicles, I think that's part of that kit that they
you want to go maintenance.
It'll
say change your oil at this many hours or this many miles.
Because it's a real thing. I mean,
sure.
That's what I was going to say, Russ. You hit it right on the head. The use of that vehicle is important, and you don't always know that. Was that the one that they was it the car that they look? I'm just going to look around here.
Right.
They hopped in and they drove to Rapid City twice a week.
Yeah.
That's a great one. Or is it the one that drove down to the corner and sat there with the air conditioning on and idled and then took off every once in a while?
Right.
That one I'm going to be a little more cautious about.
Mm-hmm.
But it might have a great chassis that never got used.
Seat might be broken in.
But the
real
engine
much.
probably has ran a lot.
Yeah.
The transmission might be pretty good. It's just, but as a rule of thumb, though, of a well-maintained fleet vehicle with good records is a pretty safe vehicle to buy most of the time. But we have seen there's that 10% where that fleet didn't have a good fleet manager, that they had problem vehicles that they're getting rid
Or,
of. You've always got to have your caution.
If you have 10 cars in your fleet and one of them does something different, and you end up with that one, they might all be great, except that one was used for pursuit or for going over dirt, 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here. Jason, I'm going to get to you in just a second. I think we'll take a break first, Jason, before we come to you. When we come back, we want to hear from Jason and you. 866-594-4150. You're listening to the Under the Hood Show. Eight 866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Don't forget, if you miss an episode, you can always find it wherever you get your podcasts, and you can watch the show on our YouTube channel. If you subscribe to that and join the Hoodie fan club at underthehoodshow.com, you could win a hoodie.
Like Robin Burkhart. Congratulations for everybody here at the End of the Hood Show and our friends over at Berkeley One Classics. They're celebrating over 50 years of collector car coverage.
Nice. 866-594-4150. I want you to find out how many years over 50. Will you do that before next week?
Oh, yeah, one. I believe it's 51.
Okay. Because we've been saying it for a while, and I wondered where we are.
That's why it's over 50 years. It was 50 years last year. Now it's over.
866-594-4150. And my question is, it seems like it was last year, but was it?
Yeah, we were doing that before the Toyota, the October Beast.
Let's talk to Jason.
That was fun.
You're on the Under the Hood Show. Jason, what can we do for you?
Hey, guys, love the show. Just had a question for you that I was wondering about. I worked at a mechanic shop in high school, in the early 2000s, and it seems like back then we replaced a lot of serpentine belts in vehicles. And, I've been driving vehicles now for years, and I've never replaced one. So I was just wondering, has, belt technology somehow improved in the last 20 years that they last longer?
Belts have become a little better, but there's more things going on. What happens is the old belts, the way they were made, they would show their signs of wear very quickly. They would crack and look horrible. And we say, oh, the belt's cracked. We got to replace it. Now belts have problems where they don't crack, but they stretch. They start to get glazed over. They will slip at times when you get a heavy load, like you get your alternator on, your rear defogger is, really loading that alternator on there. Air conditioning, all that kind of stuff. If you got a water pump, sometimes it can slip on there, and they can come off when things happen. You get tensioners that go bad, all those kind of things. Actually, it is one item that goes neglected until something major breaks. But when it's time to replace it, you should look at the schedule and see, get a realistic time. If you got 100,000 miles on a vehicle and you've never put a belt on it and never put a component kit on it, it's time to do it. We use Dayco in our shop. They're a partner of ours, and we use a lot of their complete component kits because when I put a belt on, I do not want to put a belt on for somebody that says, well, my belt's squeaking. Could you throw it on? Sure. We'll throw that belt on there. Oh, well, now it's squeaking. Well, why is it squeaking? Well, we didn't replace that idler, or we didn't replace the tensioner pulley. If I would have got a complete Dayco kit that had all those components, I'm going to put it on once and never have that issue because I forgot something. What a person might do is buy a belt they put it on, and it starts squeaking within a few weeks because they didn't replace those other components, which may have had some contamination from the old belt on there, or just air, dirt, grease, whatever. So now they'll say, well, I should go get an idler pulley. So sure, they put one idler pulley on it. That may not fix it. So now they put a tensioner pulley on it. And now it's quiet again for a little while. But because they didn't put the belt and the pulleys on at the same time, now they got the same problem. It's similar to doing brake pads without rotors and then trying to throw a set of rotors on there a couple weeks later to stop the noise. It usually doesn't fix it. You're usually back to taking it all off and putting a set of pads and rotors on at the same time. So with belts, a component kit is complete. But your first question there, are they different? I think they're probably a little better, but not so much. They just show their signs of wear differently, like tires.
And when
cracking.
when I was a kid, I remember the neighbor fixing his car. It had he put a giant belt on it. It had three things.
V-belts.
You could see the belt going. He'd take a wrench and tighten it and try and get it the right tension. Now, that's not.
You've got automatic tension.
Well, and it's going in, and it's the serpentine belt that, they're
serpentines.
They're in there. Yeah, they're in there with low clearance, and so they're not
And
getting
automatic
yanked on each other.
There are still some that aren't too old, though, like a Honda Civic that still has manually adjusted belts. Not the brand new ones. I'm talking about you go back a few years, but they had manually adjusted belts. You had to put a new belt on, and then the customer pretty much always had to come back within 2 weeks to 2 months to readjust those belts, or they would definitely squeak when you turn that air conditioner on or put a heavy load on the vehicle with alternator, headlights, or, your alternator squeaking because you get your headlights on, rear defogger, stuff like that. So belts have come a long way, but they just don't show their wear the way they used to.
Back when I was a kid, you'd see parts of belts on the side of the road. But if that were the case now, there'd be cars sitting there because you don't break a belt now, like you said. It's a done deal, pal.
And timing belts, they
belts
still have
deals.
a change interval to them, which should really be followed. But we pull them off, and they don't have cracks, even though they're old in age. But it doesn't mean they're not ready to break, because we will see a tooth come off one and the belt's done. It's like, but there weren't any cracks in the belt. You're right, there weren't. But structurally, it was breaking down internally.
Jason, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Todd. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Todd, what can we do for you?
Hey, a guy just called in about his F-150 and recall or whatever. And my girlfriend's got a 15 F-150, and she got a recall thing like that too. And it didn't say to stop driving, and I'm pretty sure it said they didn't have a fix, but they were going to have a fix for it soon. But it didn't say to stop driving it.
You got to get in contact with the dealership and see what their time frame is for having parts available, but they're starting to take care of some of those. So just contact them and see.
It's very unusual for a stop drive park it recall. And when they do, they're well known. I mean, they're going to be reaching out, making sure they get a hold of you. But otherwise, by notifying you, they are doing the due process of the recall process.
Right. Yeah.
So step 1, step 2, and then they're going to have a time frame to get parts or proper programming or whatever it might happen to be.
And if you get a recall that says one thing, but you've heard in the news something else, it might just not be your vehicle.
Right. You might have a different
that
VIN build sequence that doesn't have that part in it.
Even when they say they said it about 1 million trucks, it might just
they're
not
recalling
be.
all this brand. No, not all of them, but a lot of them.
And you can check that, Todd, if you go put the VIN in at recalls.gov, right? And
Your particular VIN, but otherwise just reach out to the service department at the dealership.
Todd, thanks very much for the call. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Bill. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Bill, what can we do for you?
I have a 21 F-150 with a 3.5 EcoBoost, and I'm getting a rough idle. It's got 65,000 miles on it. I drive the same vehicle at work, and that one's nice and smooth. What am I dealing with probably?
Well, if it's just rough idle only, it could be that the fuel injection system is dirty on that. It's got a direct GDI gas direct injected engine. and they do carbon up on the backside of the valves, and they cause these things to run rough. They really need to be cleaned earlier than a lot of people do. We see that they benefit the most from cleaning those at about 30,000 miles. The CRC GDI service kit, the direct injection service kit, is great at cleaning that out, to clean the back of the valves, the mass airflow sensor, the injectors themselves through the fuel tank, all of it. You've got to do that complete, and it's got to be on a regular schedule. If you let it go too long, you'll never get that stuff clean. Once it's caked on there for good, it's just not coming off. But proper servicing with the proper tools on a regular schedule will help keep those clean. But they'll just give a little shake at idle. If it's not a hard misfire, they'll just carbon up enough to cause fuel issues.
Is the one you have at work, are they used similarly?
Yes. The one at work is less miles, 28,000 miles.
It's time for a cleaning on that one now.
Yeah, because those EcoBoost motors, that one of the things you hear people talking about is just with the turbos, they get a little more carbon buildup in the valve train.
And they've tried to offset that with a second set of injectors in the intake now to spray the back of that's all they're there is only to clean the back of the valves. And it gets a little clean spot right on there where it's spraying them.
Have you torn some apart?
We've had some apart to replace them.
I was wondering about
intake,
that.
and you're like, oh, look at that shiny spot right there where it's spraying, but it's really not. I don't think it's really getting down in there and washing the valve seat off. It's just the back of the valve area.
But that is a thing though with those turbos. You just get a different amount of carbon that gets back up inside that cylinder, and they've been trying to super tune that over the years as they've perfected that EcoBoost. But we definitely have. If you talk to the manufacturers, even you'll hear people talking about there's some that get so bad they have to pull the heads and clean them. So don't let it get to that point. If we're going down that road that we think that's what it is, assuming you don't have any other check engine lights, there's nothing else showing up if they hook it up to a scanner when it's running. If the idle can be duplicated as rough, and they hook up to it and everything looks like it's checking normal and the fuel trims are normal and everything looks like it's supposed to, it's more than likely just a disrupted air chamber that's causing that thing to at lower idle not be able to flow the air right because of carbon. Good chance of that.
Okay. And that's a physical cleaning. That's not like a fuel additive.
Well, that's where the Russ recommended.
It's an additive, but it's also added in through the intake itself and in the gas tank. It's not just a pour in the tank additive.
You're talking about bringing it in and having it done.
Correct.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, you could do it yourself too.
Yeah.
There's people do it themselves, but a lot of people do it in the shop.
Bill, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we want to hear from you on the Under the Hood Show.
Die-hard car geeks, we love you. Folks that know nothing about cars, we love you too. Under the Hood, America's favorite car talk show.
866-594-4150. That's the number to reach us here at the Under the Hood Show. Let's talk to Brian. You're on the Under the Hood Show. Brian, what can we do for you?
Hey, guys. It's love the show. Love the show when I'm able to listen to it.
Thank you.
But I've got a 2012 Chevy. Good. Got a 2012 Chevy 1500, and I have a crazy thing that happens to it. When I get out of the truck, if I keep the keys in it, pull it out halfway, get out of the truck, once in a while it'll ding twice and lock itself and honk. And my keys are stuck inside the truck. So now I've got like 4 or 5 extra keys all over my truck on the outside that I can get to in case it happens. And it just happened a half an hour ago. So just wondering, have you ever run into something like this?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go obvious here.
Yeah, I don't. What's that?
What? Don't do that.
Don't leave your key in the car.
No, don't do that.
Just take the key with you.
Well,
You don't need a bunch of keys. Just need that one. Hold it in your
All right.
hand.
Oh, no. Okay, no, just a half an hour ago, I got out. I took the before I hit the fob to lock it. It already locked itself and honked. So I don't know what's going on.
Is that a proximity walk away
No.
They don't
feature
have
that's
one.
Not
okay.
in 12. They didn't
All
get
right.
that. They didn't get
No.
that until 14 in the new
No,
body
it doesn't.
style.
No.
I guess I'm
It could
too
have
fancy.
if it's got an aftermarket security system of some sort on there, or a remote start. It could be set to that to passive lock, and you may not even know it has it if somebody has left it in there and they took the remotes when they sold the vehicle, which happens a lot.
Or if it's dealer installed
Yeah.
that you just aren't aware of.
you got to look under the dash and see if there's any non-factory equipment. You got an aftermarket remote start in there, or security or something. You want to check that first.
No.
'Cause that's easy.
Okay.
You got to look up under there. If you
Okay.
don't think it's there,
Is
look.
there any other telltale signs besides looking under the dash? Like
It's going to be on the
what?
driver's side where the ignition wires are. It's going to be up under there somewhere. There'll be wires that do not look factory.
Because I got to be honest with you. You've said that before. You got to look under the dash or just check under the dash and see.
Right by the steering
I
column.
can't even look under my dash. I don't
A
know
lot of
how
people
to
can't.
do it. It doesn't
Well,
make any sense
And it's
to me.
covered up by a trim panel usually,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
and when you look up underneath there, but it is if you've got, I'd say, 3 wrench out of 10
Okay.
familiarity.
Okay.
You'll look up underneath there and see
And go,
that doesn't look factory
gotcha.
compared to what factory plugins, factory connections look like, factory wires. It just typically doesn't look factory.
Can I use like a
is
mirror?
3 out of 10 good, Russ? You think? Or somewhere in
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. Well, you can tell factory wires have covering on them. They just look smooth and normal. The aftermarket ones are going to be like bunched up in a rat's nest.
There's
like,
probably a zip tie.
Zip tie
stereo
There's
wires.
probably a zip tie
Yeah.
or two,
Mhm.
most likely. Now, have you tried, since you have all these keys, how many do you have? Now we're having fun with this.
That's all right. No, I do. I have like 3 extra keys on the outside of the truck, and I always keep one in my pocket.
Okay.
So,
All right. Okay.
Okay, so you got,
it
out of
it does not happen all the time. So
out of all those keys,
Still though.
out of all those keys, do they each have a fob also?
no, they do not.
Okay.
No, they do not.
It wouldn't
So it'll
last
not.
very
It
long.
will, it will not start. Right. It will not start the truck. It'll unlock the truck.
Okay.
It will not
So
start.
it's a vanity key kind of for the door.
Well,
Yeah.
So
Let's say he doesn't have an aftermarket up underneath there. Then what do we do next?
it's probably going to need a body control module, or at least need a reprogramming, because it's not doing what it's supposed to. Everything is a function of that part. So
Boy,
there's
did I
something
just-
going on in there.
When you said that, I flipped from anti-Brian to for Brian's keys plan so fast. If it's the I'm
if it's
like,
a BCM plant a key,
get
it's
10 more keys. Who cares?
because it's going to cost you a little money on that one. Because you probably got to buy a
Right.
new one, I think, and program it. I think. Well,
You do.
In-
It's
in
going
that
to probably cost
generation.
you $400 to $600.
oh, you can hide a lot of
Yeah, a
keys
lot
for
of
$400
keys.
bucks.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
can hide hundreds
That's
of them.
right.
You can go have a remote start installed and just hit the unlock button.
Right.
Just do it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, have you tried taking
All
the
right.
Have you tried taking the fob away from the vehicle?
I have not.
Yeah, take your
Oh,
take
yeah.
take any key fobs you have with the vehicle and leave them at home for the day. Just use your regular key, and if it stops doing it, you might have a remote that's broken inside, and if you shake it up a little bit,
Yeah.
it's doing it. You could even just that would
Okay.
should lock going down the road too, but you could even just try to stand next to the vehicle, maybe leave the window down so you can hit the unlock button, unlock it, and then just shake the key a little bit, see if it does
Move
it.
it around. See it. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just
All
a couple of things to try.
Yeah.
But otherwise, it's more than likely a electronic
Yeah.
BCM.
I endorse the
circuitry.
extra keys now, Brian. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Dallas. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Dallas, what can we do for you?
Yeah, I have a 2020 Ford F150, and when it's cold outside and I jump in to turn on the heater or whatever, there is a funky noise. But then it isn't the fan or anything like that, because the fan still sounds the same, high or low, and it only works, about 5 minutes, and then it's gone.
Blend door motor.
Is
Click, click,
it-
click, 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 click.
Okay.
Is it a thud or a click?
It's kind of like a click.
Yeah, blend door motor broken. We got one right now on one of
Blend-
these in our shop that needs one. You got to pull the whole dash to do it, but it turned out it had more than a blend door broken. It had the door broken, so it's going to need the dash replaced. I'm waiting for the part to come in for that, but we do that a lot. We have a lot of those blend doors that the door breaks in the dash, and it's not just replacing the actuator; it's replacing the entire unit.
HVAC box.
Yeah, so we sell a lot of those.
Let's hope
here.
it's not that. Let's hope it's just the no, and that one's the one going for your mode that moves from. Well, you said you're going from cold to heat. You're not changing position like from defrost to.
No, it's as soon as if I jump in the truck when it's cold out and start it, and then turn the heat on, or like hit the power button on it, it does that noise for about 5 minutes until it kind of warms up, and then it's gone. The blower motor works great. I can change it from defrost to floor, all that stuff works. It's just that funky noise, for the first 5 minutes that it's chilly.
Is there okay? So let's assume it's the least thing.
Couple $100.
Is that? So I was going to ask you to bring it to you
For
and
the
have you
least
take
one.
the dash
For the one you can access without.
That's the
tearing
one
things
you can
apart.
access. The one that you can't access, you can figure about $800-900 because you got to pull a lot to get that one out. There's one of the 5 that are really hard to get to.
Okay.
And then if the dash is broken, you can look at a couple grand.
That's not what he wants to hear.
Usually the dash isn't broken on those.
But
Dallas, does it start working after that time?
It does.
Does every function work though? Heat, cold on both sides.
And they all work.
That's
even
weird.
when that noise is working too.
Then it's got to be the recirculation door motor because that wouldn't affect anything coming out the dash, but you'll hear a change. If you hit the recirculation button, you should hear it go from a loud roar inside because it's pulling air from inside the car. You turn that off to outside air, it should quiet down. If you don't hear that change at all, that recirculation door is the one that's not working.
And it's that would automatically do if it's cold out and I start my vehicle, the default goes to
open,
and that's
to keep the window from fogging up.
Probably where it's working right there. Okay. All right, Dallas, good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Roger. You're on the End of the Hood Show. Roger, what can we do for you?
Hi, I have just kind of a generic question, I guess. I occasionally do some repair for friends and such, and it seems like after a few months, I would normally end up with like a couple transmissions or maybe an oil pan or axles and things like that. And I'm just wondering from a recycling perspective, is that better to take to just a regular metal scrapyard, or should I be looking at taking it to an auto recycle center like Nordstrom's?
What a good question that is.
Yeah, and
I don't think we've ever had this one.
no, and
I've wondered it.
I've had it. We have it all the time at the counter,
Right.
Or at our sales reps get this question all the time. But if are these problem units that you've taken out? Is that what they are?
Yes.
Okay, I think I have the closest to quick answer I can give.
Okay.
Based on our own experience. We have a program within our computer system that we get from the United Recyclers Group that monitors 5 to 7 different core companies that are interested in the items that are in demand for remanufacturing. And if it is one of those items, whether it's an instrument cluster or a transmission or whatever it is, it automatically inserts a core charge onto our invoice. So we know there's a value to the old part.
Or not.
And it could affect the pricing of the original part on how we do it. It's all part of a formula. If there is no core charge on there, or the seller has chosen not to have a core charge and doesn't want it back, they don't want it back.
So you don't want it.
It would cost us more to handle it
than
it's worth typically. And that point, a lot of the repair shops you'll see will have a scrap wagon, and the things that are not in demand for core charges, where they've been charged and have to return it, end up in that core wagon, and they usually take them to the scrap metal place and get rid of them, or somebody will come by that will buy the aluminum transmissions or what happened to be, and that becomes the beer and pizza money for the shop. A lot of times.
So
is that fair, Russ?
No, ours goes right back into the.
Well, you've got a unique situation.
But that's exactly how it works. Yes, we return, and I'll bet you the worst part for the shop is that I would say probably 2 to 5% of everything in that scrap bucket that goes in for 10 cents or whatever, it had a core on it. Somehow it got missed because it can get missed.
In Roger's case, what does he do? Does he call?
Well, he probably knows it had a core when he bought it because he bought it to repair somebody. So he would have got his core money back if needed. So these are probably scrap parts. So for scrap, he could.
I know what I would do if I was in his shoes.
Okay.
I have a different set of resources, but I would, if you got like 12 items, take a picture of them, put them on Facebook Marketplace, and say core and scrap units. Who's interested? Give me a bid.
Mm-hmm.
And there's enough scrappers out there and core guys that they might see that in your market. And if you want to deal with that noise, you might be able to get rid of that. Otherwise, just take it to the scrapyard.
They might say, "We'll give you $2 for it and take all your scrap."
Take it to the scrapyard probably after that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Does it make any difference environmentally?
No.
Well, environmentally, it matters if making sure everything's drained.
Yeah.
But as
and
far
not
as
throwing
like
in the garbage can,
because that aluminum, that steel, that's all going to work its way back into the system one way or the other.
That's the Under the Hood show. Thanks, everybody. Let's talk to Todd. Let's go. We'll do the after show here. Let's go like this. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Todd. You're on the Under the Hood show. Todd, what can we do for you?
Hey guys, so I got an 09 GMC Sierra 1500, and we were coming home from camping the other day. My wife was driving out from camper in her vehicle, and she says, some lights just came on your dash, and they're making the noise, the dinging. We got home, and it said, service, traction control, service park assist turned off, all that kind of stuff on my dash. So I went out and looked into the hood, and I noticed that my brake fluid reservoir was way down. So I thought, what the heck? How'd that happen? I always keep an eye on that. So yesterday I filled it up, and I looked at it this morning, and it's empty again. Where's that brake fluid going? Is that part of that park assist? Because, what's going on there?
A low brake fluid level will give you an indicator light and cause all those systems to give you warnings, ABS, park assist, StabiliTrak, everything. But if it's disappearing, there's only 2 places it can go. It's leaking onto the ground. You've got a hose or a line leaking somewhere, and it may be leaking into a frame, and you won't see it until it's got a whole bunch of fluid in there.
Okay.
The only other place, period, it can go is into the vacuum brake booster if it is equipped with a vacuum brake booster. If it's not, it's leaking somewhere, and you'll find it eventually. It'll start coming out somewhere, but it may take a while for it to build up enough to start running down. If it's leaking on the line behind the gas tank, which is really common, it will completely fill all the dirt and mud that's been packed for years behind there, because that's why it rusted in the first place. It'll fill that up with brake fluid, and then it'll start dripping on the ground.
So he's got to get this.
Yep. If it has a vacuum brake booster and you don't see it leaking on the ground, take the 2 nuts off that hold the master cylinder to the brake booster. You don't have to take anything else off. Just take those nuts off and pull it away an inch and look in there with a flashlight. And if it's all wet, you're going to need a brake booster and a master cylinder. Otherwise, it's got to leak.
Bolts off to my master cylinder, to the brake booster, take them off?
Those 2 nuts, yeah, just take them loose.
Okay, yep, okay.
Pull it forward enough to see inside of there, and if it's all wet, your master cylinder's gone bad, and you're going to have to put the booster on it too, because the booster will be full of fluid.
Does that make sense to you?
Okay.
Because you're going to have that means you have a seal out in the back of the master cylinder, and it's allowing it to go inside of that. So you got to see if it's wet back there. But most likely, are you from a northern climate? Are you from around here?
Yeah, from Minnesota.
Most likely, it's a rusted brake
guys.
line.
Straight east of you guys.
Most likely, it's a rusted brake line, and it's seeping out fluid, and it's getting rust nailed it. It's getting caught up in the dirt and the mud, just that is accumulated near that brake line, and you won't notice it right away.
Todd, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. 866-594-4150. Let's talk to Bob. You're on the Under the Hood show. Bob, what can we do for you?
Hi, thanks guys for taking my call. I just got a question as far as what brand you guys would buy. I've got a 2015 Lexus and a 2020 Highlander. They got the AGM batteries and everything in, and one doesn't get driven very often. And when I go to look in Google for battery tenders, it gives you about 5 different brands. I'm just curious, what would you guys recommend? What brand of battery tender and how big, like a 5 amp, 10 amp, what would you guys recommend?
Well, for a normal car with a single battery, a 5 to 10 amp one is fine, but it's got to be able to charge. It's got to be able to maintain. It's got to be able to condition the battery. It's got to be a smart unit. It's got to be able to do AGM, marine, power sport, whatever you want.
Most of them are going to be, right?
No, not all of them. Some of them are just glorified battery chargers. I like the Optima brand ones. Those are great.
Optima?
Yeah, the ones from Optima, you can have in different sizes, but they have the capability of charging a battery, maintaining a battery. They'll check the level of it, the whole thing. I mean, you plug it in, it's fully automatic. You've got a button on there to switch to. You've got AGM battery or lead acid battery, so it's going to protect your car, and it's really good. It's going to keep it charge it, and it's going to keep it charged. So if you ever have one that runs a little low, you can charge it. It doesn't hurt to help with the condition of a battery if you've got a minute and you're doing some work on that car to plug one in. Not everybody will plug one in, but I have found that myself, if I got a car I'm driving every day, and then I'm doing some work on it, I say, I got the hood open. I'm going to be doing a lot of work on it. I'm just going to plug that battery maintainer in. I plug it in, and I'm like, that thing's at 75%. It's just not fully charged. I plug it in, let it charge overnight. It goes into maintain. I'm good. Even though the vehicle will start every day. Like Chris is like, I've never charged a battery I was driving every day. Well, you don't have to. But if you do that, it'll make sure that battery is at its top optimum peak, fully charged, and it'll prolong the life of that battery. So even if you're charging one fully every 3 or 6 months, just to, hey, I got time, it's a weekend, let's plug it in and let it go.
And I'll give you a tip, Bob.
Okay.
If you're using it on a specific vehicle the most, if it's the one, put the leads on the battery and give yourself access to that cord, because it doesn't, opening the hood and clamping it takes 10 seconds. It's a piece of cake, but it is. If you just put the leads on and leave it available, oh my gosh, will you do it all the time? And also then when you back out and forget, it just pops off too. I can say from experience.
And Optima,
Okay, so
that
Optima
Optima maintainer, it's made by the same company that makes the AGM technology.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, Clarios is one of our partners, and they've educated us a lot, and that's a super good product. Now, having said that, the amperage, they kind of know what they need with their charger or with their maintainer, and it's a good unit. I've got some little scooters and stuff that I've put all kinds of brand names on them, and they're anywhere from 1.5 amp to 2 amps. Something that you buy for not a lot of money, and they seem to work fine on those units. But on my nicer vehicles, I want to have a better system to maintain that battery.
Yeah, well, these will be primary used on just our regular vehicles, newer vehicles. It won't be for a boat or a lawn tractor or anything like that. It's just mainly our cars that we drive.
Yep.
So,
well, that Lexus, that's a heavily demand for the power system to be top notch. They got a lot going on in that car, so that's a definite candidate for a good maintainer.
Bob, thanks very much for the call. Good luck. All right, I think that's gonna do it. Welcome back. Be gone next week.
Couple weeks.
Okay.
And then I think I'm here for like a long time. I think a long time. I'm trying to schedule everything past Thursday. I think a long time. I don't know what a long time means right now, but
2 weeks.
No, I think it's a long time. I'm trying to put my schedule together, and it's crazy. I got to go to Texas. I got to go to Florida. I've got to go to Canada. But I think most of those I'm going to be able to do. Indianapolis. I think most of those I'm going to be able to do.
Greece.
Greece is for Europe. A wedding.
And let's you to go to Europe too
Well,
Greece.
I'm going to Greece for a wedding, and it happens to fall the same weekend as a meeting in England. So we're going to the wedding in Greece.
There you go.
And then we're flying from Greece to Heathrow, and we're staying at Heathrow, and we're going to commute to a meeting. 2 days, 1 day of yard touring, and 1 day of meetings in England. So,
because we should mention you're a karate expert.
Yeah, it is. My forms
Kung fu,
my
open
forms
hand.
my forms are so good.
All right, that's going to do it for the Under the Hood show. Thanks, everybody.